Welcome to this panel discussion with the Watercoolers Europe events organisers. Thank you for joining me today. If we could begin by introducing yourself and your role, please.
My name is Gustav Felix and I am the Managing Director of Watercoolers Europe.
My name is Marzia Mariotti. I'm the chair of the association, just re-elected for the second time.
And my name is Derek Callahan and I am the treasurer of Watercoolers Europe.
My name is Katarzyna Tomanek and I'm the vice chair of Watercoolers Europe.
Thank you and welcome to this panel. To begin, could you just tell me a little bit about how the event is going? What have been your key highlights so far?
Well, if I may start, for me, the quality of the speakers at the conference this morning was actually of a standard that's as high as we've come to expect from these events. Certainly, I took a lot of interesting knowledge away from particularly the keynote speaker. Also, I attended one of the workshops, and again, it was of a very, very high standard. So for me, alongside, of course, the interaction with old friends and meeting new potential people, it was actually probably the quality of the speakers that we've had so far.
Yeah, I think so that the conference were really, really, really good, really well attended. And also the fair tomorrow will be full of exhibitors. So we think that this event is growing. We are growing the association and also the event is growing. The next will grow also in the next years.
Indeed, I have the pleasure to introduce the speakers, and it was a pleasure to see all of them and their professionality of the speakers. And as Marcia said, starting from the last year after Lisbon and after Vienna, we see again an increase which makes our event more and more attractive. And this reflects the fact that the efforts the association is putting to bring something for our members is working well.
Well, I would say that for me, this event is a fantastic opportunity to meet colleagues, business partners, to share ideas, to share knowledge. And this year, I'm very much, I think it's a very successful event. The quality of all the presentations I've seen today was really impressive. I took part in 2 workshops and they were also, the participation of other colleagues was really, really high. So looking forward to see the trade fair tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to have even more interesting conversations with the industry members.
Thank you. And what is and was the role of the association in bolstering the water coolers sector in Europe? Gustav, if you could please take this one.
I would say from the beginning, our target was to have a product that is safe. Consumer protection was in front of our logo. How do we do this? We can only do this by making sure that our members are actively taking care of all the rules and regulation. And as you know, there's not only one in Europe. We have a Europe with member states, and each member state started at the beginning, not knowing what a water cooler is, starting at the beginning to put their own rules and regulation. The major issue that we had was to put everything together and try to have a code of code of good hygiene for entire Europe. And meaning for entire Europe, it means that it had to be approved by all member states. And this was the largest success that our association did. We do have now regulation for bottled water coolers. We have regulation for point-of-use machines. And this regulation have been endorsed by all the member states. And I think that without this, wouldn't have been able to save the investment in the industry, and this was the paved road for the further development.
Well, also maybe here regarding the standards that Gustav mentioned, I think that this is something that we should always look at, and that we should always inform our members about that. This is a pivotal role of the association to follow all those regulations and to actually to be a step in advance. So association plays here a crucial role. We work in a technical committee. We arrange workshops, trainings for companies, for member companies, just to make sure that the companies adhere to those high standards, and that we can offer our consumers clean, safe, and hygienic water.
Just actually also I'd like to add from that point of view, I think if you look historically what we've done over the past 30 years, obviously a lot of work has gone into it and building foundations and building a level of trust within legislators, particularly at the European level, so that now in this ever more legislatively heavy world, we're actually now the first port of call for advice and information and questions about how best to enforce these legislative requirements, but also do it in a way that is protective of the industry and also protective of the people. And I think the foundations that have been put into to get to this stage is bearing fruit and will continue to bear fruit for the future.
Thank you. We mentioned a bit about regulatory hurdles and legislation being a challenge, and that the association is a point of call for lots of different companies around Europe. In what ways are you supporting those companies and your members?
We are supporting the members with our committees, technical committees, and with the management also, trying to help them when there are some legislation problems in their country. So we actively work with them really close to try to solve the problems, and sometimes happen that's in some countries.
If we look at these machines that are water dispenser, from our side they look very simple. They might have a bottle on top, they might not have a bottle on top, but it looks very simple. They have a couple of buttons for displacing water. In fact, the entire machine, if it looks as regulation, there are at least 50 European regulations that we have to watch. It means our role is to be on top on this at the European level, watch a regulation, and inform our members accordingly so they are prepared for what is going to come. And this is a major role. This is the kind of support that we do at the level of European Commission in Brussels. But beside of this, it happens in one country or the other that they start to have a problem. At this stage, we are able to go to that country and discuss with regulators, with the Institute of Hygiene, or whatever the situation is there, to try to solve the problem and explain what we are doing, and that they can count of our support, and they can count that our products are safe.
Thank you.
It just struck me yesterday, and I was speaking to a customer this morning, I spent quite a bit of last night glued to CNN, looking at the hurricane coming in over Florida. And it struck me actually. I'd had a conversation with the management team earlier on in the day, and we were going through the checklist of all of the potential things that could harm our industry legislatively down the line, could affect our industry, all manner of things, and it struck me that certainly our job is to be aware of all these things and to spot the ones that are coming in a direct hit towards us, and then to act accordingly and work, as I said, in conjunction with the legislators to analyse which ones, what we can do about it to make sure that their goals are met in terms of consumer safety, but also our goals are met in terms of maintaining the industry and making it as strong as it is today.
Thank you. One challenge we heard a lot about today was water contamination with microplastics, PFAS, sediment, and a few people were saying it's not really okay to be drinking tap water anymore because of the high levels of chlorine, which was quite a surprise to me. And do you think that's something that a lot of consumers are aware of? And do we need a bit more information to people about this?
From our own perspective, there's a very delicate balance to be struck, because for sure it's far better to have a glass of water with chemicals in there, with the PFAS, with all these things, than it is to have a beer or a wine, or, as much as we all like it, some sort of another drink. So we cannot take away the goodness or the overall goodness of being well hydrated. That's the bottom line. However, what we can do is make sure that people are hydrated in the most healthiest possible way. And how do we do that? By trying to work with people, to legislators and also our own members, to make sure that what we can provide is the cleanest, safest and tastiest glass of water that the consumer will be able to get. And when they have that glass of water that's tasty, they will drink more, and everybody benefits.
Well, I can only add that this consumer awareness about water safety is also increasing, and it's also important that association plays this role to make sure that our members keep standards, that adhere to standards, and there is a lot of potential for the future, looking also at not only at all those things we can, let's say, find in water that we talk about, also like climate change, water scarcity. So yeah, I would say it's a good industry to be in for the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the consumer now are more conscious about what there is inside the water. They would like to have a clean water, and it's not only the tap water the problem is also the bottled water, also more the bottled water than the tap water. So at the end, what we have to do, what we are doing, is really creating really a good drinking water for the consumer, adding filters to remove some particular kind of chemicals or contaminants that are in the water, and so we can solve a lot of problems for the consumer at the end. So I think that our industry has to grow, is growing, and has a really an important role in the consumption of drinking water for all the population, individual, businesses, communities, everybody.
Thinking about events like Watercoolers Europe and the association and the industry as a whole, what are some of your hopes for the future? Gustav?
The hope for the future is that, regarding our association, that we'll always be able to be on top of all rules and regulation to help our members. So putting a hope in numbers, saying we expect 10 million water coolers in Europe, it's not exactly what we're thinking about. We just see that the industry is developing year by year. We just see that the number of machines around Western Europe, around Eastern Europe, are permanently increasing. And despite of this, what is a very positive hope is that the markets are not saturated. We are not talking of the product that is going to penetrate the market just by replacement. We have markets that are open for new machines, and we have to do whatever is necessary from our association. As Marcia said, with committees, we work with the committees and supporting the countries, just to be on this train. That means developing and continuing the placement of dispensers now, which is major in business to business, but the future is also in homes, which at the moment we are pretty weak in homes delivery.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of players in the market that at the moment are not part of our association. They are small players, and so in the future, I hope that this event like this one and the increase of our association will embrace all of these small players that at the moment they play without rules in their country, and this is really important for us to give a standardization and to have players in all the market that they have the same rules and they follow the same standards. So our role in the future is to attract all these players and increase more.
Very much echoing what Gustav and Marzia has said. Ultimately, our aim is to raise the bar on standards throughout all of Europe. And that means education, that means bringing new members in. And the only way we'll do that was by keep talking about raising the standards, impressing upon everybody in the industry that a healthy cup of water is the best way to go about having a healthy body and banging those drums. So really, it's just a case of continuing to do what we do it better, do it faster, do it bigger.
Thank you. Kasia.
Yes, of course, attracting new companies to make sure that the standards are high in all European countries. It's very important for the future. Also, we discuss a lot sustainability, and there are a lot of actions in the association that support that, and this is key for the future. I believe that these are also what the management mentioned here. I would not repeat, but these are like key things we should focus on. And it's only great news that this healthy hydration, that the people's awareness is growing on that, and this healthy hydration is so important in our everyday lives. And our association is here to help to make sure that it's safe, it's high quality, and that's, I think, what we are doing.
Okay, thank you so much. Any final comments you would like to raise?
I would like to encourage all the companies to take part of the event of Watercoolers Europe and to join us for the future, not only for the event, but to be part of our association in the national association and so to the European level.
Marcia, I think that was the best wish from the chairperson, indeed. Maybe I repeat what was said here, but it's important that the players on the market will be part of. We can make sure, if they are players in our association, that they keep with the regulation standard, and they will have the chance to be fully supported in their business.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.